number 5, is it, I believe, now? Of the show that said never could happen.
4.
5.
Is it 5?
Pretty sure it's 5.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Hey, man. And it's been a lot of it. So.
Or if I get here on time.
Well, you know, I have fun even when you're not here. So that's as far as I want to take that comment. So welcome back to the other state of hockey. We are here. Frankie Mink, my co-host, has joined us on time, I might add.
Yes, thank you. I lost my spot last week, and now you took it over. You step in, and that's what happens.
You know, it's like hockey. You get the spot start, and you only get kicked out after you lose. So.
That's all right. You only last one playoff series.
You know, that's fine. That's fine. I always said that was the thing about baseball. You only have to make it through spring training.
That's it.
By the time they figure out you suck, it's the All-Star game.
And you're in it.
All right. A couple of things we wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about starting off, giving out some hollers to Team Canada and Team US from the IIHF World Championships held after the playoffs, or after the playoffs are over for many of our teams at least.
Yeah.
Team Canada bringing home gold, going 10-0 in playoff pool. Ceramic Cindy Crosby. He captained the team, actually, and is the 10th member of the Triple Gold Club.
Wow.
Triple Gold Club is World Championship, Olympic Gold, Stanley Cup. So he's only the 10th player to ever do it. So,
what do they give the horses that do that? What's that called? You know,
the Triple Crown.
Triple Crown, yeah.
Right.
So,
there you go.
That's what it is.
The big chirp here for the Team US, actually, considering that they took mostly college players, couple of American Hockey Leaguers, some bubble NHLers, and managed to make a run of it to get third. So first medal since, I think, in 5 years or something like that. My boy Jack Campbell was one of the goalies, so good on him. And I don't know if he's listening, but he did say like the page. So
I'm gonna have to go look. I want to see that roster too, that U.S. roster.
Yep.
I wonder who the big NHLers with it.
You got a hard time finding the big names on there.
Really?
A lot of the big names, like John Quick and all those guys, stayed home. But, you know, that's always been the thing about the World Cup. It's always been guys are beat up. Guys, the series over. Do they want it? You know, they need some time to decompress. They need time to make sure that they're ready to go for next year. A lot of men are having surgery at the end of the year. So
yeah. No, it's and Crosby, I mean, you know, he really didn't do much, so I guess he wasn't too tired or too
He must
hurt.
have been fresh. Exactly. He was daisy fresh. Ziploc fresh. So down to the Final Four, finally, which means kind of sucks because there's only hockey on every other night now.
Yeah. No, right now it's every night.
Yeah, well, true. Right now there is, yes.
There'll be one little time where maybe like on a Thursday it'll skip, and then,
Yep,
you know, because they want to get on the
days.
weekend, and they want to get on that weekend deal. So.
And if you go outside right now, it kind of feels like hockey weather's coming back.
I know. It's brutal here.
Brutal, man. We're not going to do a weather report. But anyways, so Eastern Conference, Rangers and Tampa. Series I'm kind of half lukewarm about.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly excited about it, but I predicted it was going to be an even matchup, and so far it's been. You've had Tampa came out, kicked the crap out of them last game, 6-2. And then you had the Rangers won the first one, 2-1, I believe it was. So my thing about this, what does that tar kicking that Tampa put on them do? Does it make them feel a little bit too high in their horse, or does it fire up the Rangers and get them ready to come back and stick it to them?
You know, I think that especially when you have a great goaltender, I mean, you think we let them down, you know, because sure, maybe one or two is the one I think he kind of missed on the glove or whatever. But other than that, it was kind of, you know, and it's just like when you pull your goal, you know, you put the backup in. It's just kind of the change of momentum. So I think sometimes they get back to practice, and you know.
Yeah, I think the boys are actually able to shut it down and just say, okay, hell with this, let's get it done, get out of this, nobody hurt, ready for next game.
Yeah, it was a game. It's it's a game. It's done.
It was ironic that Marty St. Louis ended up dicing it on what turned into a 5-on-3, and considering he was one of the guys that was traded from Tampa. The Rangers. So.
I know, that's right. That's a whole big trade there.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, it's a small world of hockey, so it is what it is. Let's see. I tried making a couple of notes. I got to think.
But who do you think is going to pull this one out?
You know, I started looking at numbers, as you know I often do. And goaltending is goaltending. These guys actually literally match up virtually identically.
Yeah.
So you have Bishop's save percentage is 933. What do you think Lundqvist is? 932. So Bishop is 183 on goals against, 186 for Lundqvist. So there you go. Those guys match up pretty good. Different styles, different size.
Yeah.
Entirely different worlds that they come from. That's fine. The numbers that really speak to me, you look at power play, the Rangers have a 17.8% efficiency. Tampa, 21.7.
Right.
Penalty kills, Rangers are 81. Tampa is at 85.
Wow. Well, the power plays what the penalty kills what killed the Rangers last. What was that? 3 of them. Okay. So, and that was just like we'll get on to the next series with Anaheim. Same thing yesterday. Both goals scored on Anaheim were power play goals were scored on them. So it's a huge thing. I
think that's the thing you're actually starting. We'll probably talk about it later on. We start looking at overtime and the way the games wrap up and stuff like that. We look at 4-on-4 now as well as 3. I know 3-on-3 has been thrown around. The American League did play with it. They tried it. The big thing I think that we're probably gonna get into a little bit more is that coaches kind of figure out how to play a 4-on-4 system, because you already play in a situation with a 4-man. Yeah. Because you play your penalty killings 4-man.
And there's a lot of 4-on-4s even in a game.
So how do you do that with 3? Do you throw it 2 meat hooks, or do you throw out sniper hoping that one guy can cover up?
Well, if it's going to go to the shootout eventually, maybe sometimes you still just play for the tie. That type. That was the problem that they had with overtimes before. People just play for the tie. But if you have enough star power, even your first 1.5 lines, that's when you do that 3-on-3 is you get a lot of space. Yep. A lot of time, snipe.
Well, that's how do you put out guys? Do you put out defensive guys? Do you put out your horses?
Yeah. No, I will put out my fastest, smallest defender who hopefully has a nice wicked shot. I won't want to put the big guy out there.
Well, how the game's changing, but unsung heroes is a little thing I like.
How do you think Pronger would do?
How do I think Pronger would do? Pronger would be home right now golfing.
And Pronger was a great 5-on-5, and even power.
Game was different then, though. I mean, even since the lockouts, the rule changes with the neutral zone, red line being gone, no longer a 2-line pass. A lot more speed, a lot more open play. So
becoming more like roller.
The clutch and grab is gone now too. Yep. But the mobility's not
that so tight. I like that.
Oh, I'd absolutely do. Mario would still be playing probably.
Yep.
So unsung hero, Tyler Johnson. Who the heck is Tyler Johnson? Tampa Bay Lightning. He's a second-year player, 5'8", little guy.
Love it.
From Spokane, Washington.
Love it.
Second full year, 16 games played, 11 goals, 5 assists, +4. How's that for an ace stud?
Wonder if he gets a new contract this year.
If he's second-year player, depending on his age, he's not up for any kind of RFA situation yet. Probably for at least another year or two. So depending on his age. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. But he came up through their farm, so he's a product of their farm system. Kucherov, of course, is doing well for them as well. Come out of nowhere. Stepan and Kreider, which pain me to even mention. But zeros. Who do you think my big zeros should be for this series? I have one for each team.
St. Louis would be one, right?
Not so much.
No, okay.
Not so much. Rick Nash.
Yeah.
Where the heck has Rick Nash disappeared to?
Even in the earlier series, he was not. He was there. I mean, he was very aggressive, but he wasn't putting big points up or nothing.
And I've heard people say the rub on him. Oh well, he's played so long in Columbus that he's not used to playing in the playoffs.
Oh, please.
Okay, he's been in New York how long now? Yeah. He's been out of that world for long enough. Yeah. Plus, he's played hockey long enough. If you can't get motivated to play in the playoffs, what are you getting motivated for at all? So, Stamkos being the other one. The other thing, I kind of give him a little bit of latitude because he apparently is playing off position. He's normally a center. He's playing wing right now to give our dear gentleman, Mr. Johnson, some room.
Wow.
So doing something great for the team. So maybe a little out of his comfort zone. And there's word on the street that he probably has a little bit of a nagging injury too. So
and he's been injury prone. I mean, he went out last year.
Broken leg.
Broken leg. I had him on my fantasy too.
Yeah, he came back quick, but I was hoping he'd be back for the Olympics. But
right. He came right back after the Olympics.
Yep.
So
yep.
See, and that's where I would, as a team owner, I wouldn't want him going to the Olympics.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, as far as my money, You know, if I was a betting man, I'd steer clear of this one, to be quite honest, because I don't have enough of a gut to go with this. I give a slight edge to Tampa, maybe.
Me too, because of Bishop, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
And Lundqvist is awesome, but Bishop's just playing great hockey.
Yep. Lundqvist has always been consistent, but Bishop is really trying to elevate his game here. So, looking at the West, did you stay up last night and watch that?
The whole thing.
Yeah, I need my beauty sleep. So, and believe it or not, we have faces for radio.
Yes.
So,
and you know what's so funny is when just knowing that we were doing the show today, I watched that whole game, and then I couldn't go to sleep, so I watched a little bit of the Rangers Washington game because I missed that game, so I went back and watched that game again, and so just to get a feel for it. So yeah, I was up almost all night watching hockey. So
I mean, you're looking at 2 full games, triple overtime, 2 full games, and it's just, what does that do? There you go. That comes back to the blowout. What does that do to the team to go that far and lose, or to go that far and win? When you look at the minutes some of these guys logged, Duncan Keith was 7 seconds short of 50 minutes.
Wow.
Goalie's 53 saves, I believe, for Crawford, 60, I believe, or 60 for Crawford, 53 for Anderson. Long night's work.
No. And like you said, the first 2 in the first period were, the 2 Blackhawk goals were power play goals. And it looked like they were clicking, but as soon as they went back to, even strength, the Ducks were on. They have such a forecheck that is. I mean, you don't have time to breathe.
Yeah, I want to see how, given the top 4 defensemen for Chicago, giving them all these big minutes, seeing how this is going to work down the stretch for these guys. Because I don't care what kind of shape you're in, these guys lose weight as the season goes on, and it's meat weight. It's not fat weight or water weight.
Nope.
These guys are putting down 4,000 and 5,000 calories a day.
Yep.
They could literally eat a bottle of Hellman's on the bench, and it wouldn't make a difference. These guys are burning muscle, and it just wears on you.
And my one guy I'm kind of rooting for personally is Timonen, and he was the cause for the first goal. He pinched in, which it was almost a good read pinch in. He just got beat on it, you know, and so that turned into that first goal. And what about that? Did you see the header?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about Wolf, Brock. Jason's son, one of the guys we coach with this year. All 3 of us coach. But anyway, remember he headed the puck he
did
probably once a game at least. So that was funny. I thought of him right away.
And I could not believe the amount of discussion that was on the radio today about if that was a legal goal or not.
I mean, I thought it was no right away.
Right.
And then the guy said, "Well, there's nothing in the rule book." And I said,
"Yes, there is.
Rule
75."
Yeah, and I thought there's got to be a rule. I mean, because
I'm not even a fan of using the skate, turning the skate into it.
Because that used to be.
It used to be a deliberate action to redirect. Now they'll allow you to redirect as long as there's no kicking action.
Motion.
Which I can see that.
Which there was a kicking. There was one of those last night. Cogliano's first goal. He
guys just want it. They know the rules.
Yeah,
they just want it. But what can you say?
But it's a great series.
These teams are just matching up so well.
Yeah,
we called it right from the start that these guys were going to meet up in the conference finals, and they were just going to be neck and neck. First home loss for Anaheim so far yet this playoff.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
That has been Death Valley for teams going in there.
Yeah, the Honda Center's it's fun. It's a fun little place. Been there a bunch of times, so I love it. But there's a lot of Blackhawk fans there last night, and there usually is a lot of, for whatever reason, you go there's a lot of Kings. When I went a couple Kings games, Vancouver one time, Vancouver fans came down in buses. So there's always been that feel there. But
we could even talk about what Tampa did in the playoffs probably next week, as far as not allowing road teams to buy tickets.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we started looking at the numbers here, and I always kind of tip my hand a little bit more towards Anaheim in this, but the numbers show it: 30% power play for Anaheim, 17 for Chicago, and the PK, Anaheim's 88, Chicago 73. So you got to wonder with goaltending the way that these guys have matched up. Although you look at it, Anderson, who's been unbelievable, unbelievable, absolute stud. He's 9-1, well 9-2 now. We should probably get credit for an extra game after last night.
Yeah, right.
Better save percentage, lower goals against. I think this is going to be Anaheim, but it's going to take at least 6, if not 7. So,
I'm just I'm thinking this is going to be 6 or 7. I'm believing Anaheim's going to wear wear them down, but I've always thought that with Chicago. Every run they've had, they're going to wear down. They're kind of a smaller team. And so
I love it.
It's a great series. I'm really stoked about watching this one.
Our boy Bolesky, we don't know what we need to get him going again, but
Pesky Bolesky.
Every
time you touch a puck, I thought about you saying that. Every time you touch Pesky Bolesky. But he was in there making plays.
Making presents. He hasn't anything to show on the points. He's still -2.
Well, I can't wait to talk to him because him and Host have really got something. I mean, those two have really been laying into each other. So imagine that being a kid. I mean, you probably watched him growing up. So
yeah,
I love it.
All right. Well, I think it's just about time to. Yeah, Maddie's nodding her head at me. It is time to go off and pay a couple bills. So we'll be back after this with our special host, Coach John Tortorella of the Iowa Wild.
Nice.
Torchetti. Torchy, you're going to kill me.
Yeah.
All right. Back over to you.
Concept Studios. This is Webcast 1 Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart. And it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
All right, and we are back on the other state of hockey. My gosh, these headphones are loud. Reason we're wearing these is we are going to bring on our first ever guest on the other state of hockey. And on the line, we have got Iowa Wild head coach John Torchetti.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Torchy, how are you, buddy?
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Not too bad.
All right, well, Coach is actually on the road, so hence why we're wearing the Spaceman headgear here. But we just quickly want to go through this. For those that don't know, you're from Boston, Mass. So the East Coast is well represented on this show, with Frank being from Philly. I'm from Eastern Canada. So
we're both paisans, too.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. Like Philadelphia, that's where I won a Stanley Cup, so I like that a lot that time.
There you go. See, man, that's like that. When I was born the year they won the cup, and they've never won it since. So I'm like the curse, I think, until like the GOAT. So
So,
I like you, Curse.
So, Coach, what's in the off-season plans? I know we had a rough season this year, and we're very glad to have you here on board, and would like a lot of things that we're seeing out of the team and from your leadership. So, what are your plans for the off-season?
Well, I think that starting tomorrow, I'll be sitting down with the management, Chuck Fletcher and Brent Flair in Minnesota, and going over what direction our team's going to go, and looking at, from the goalies to the D to the centers to the wingers, and just building from there, and also seeing what veterans, that they're looking at for the big club. That would probably be a call-up, or who are their projected call-ups, and how do we build from that when they leave to play in the NHL, and what we still have left in between. So there's going to be lots to go over, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think the fans will be very happy with our product when we finally make all the decisions, and I'm sure there's a lot's going to happen in between here and the draft, and go from there.
All right. Well, actually, we did have a question from one of our listeners. Was how do you, talking about team chemistry, how do you keep your team together? How do you keep that team chemistry going with so much traffic going up and down the I-35 here between Minneapolis and Des Moines?
Well, I think part of it is making sure if it's your veteran guys that are the call-ups, that you have other guys that are, third year or fourth year guys, if the veterans are going to be up, that are good leaders that you bring in to keep that group tight. And I think it's, for me, the biggest thing ever is low maintenance, high character. And, I've been very fortunate in my career. I learned that at a very young age from my first coach when I was 19 years old. And he's been in the NHL for a long time, Rick Dudley, and he's won a lot of games and been a GM, assistant GM. He's assistant GM now with Montreal Canadiens. And I've had a lot of success when I've had the opportunity to build teams from the beginning to the end. And I've worked with Chuck Fletcher and Brent Flair and before, and I believe in these guys, and I think the fans will be happy. I know Chuck really wants to put an emphasis on winning, and Mr. Leopold himself has said that he was in about a month and a half ago to our season ticket holders and told him that he wants to make sure that we have a winning team down here next year.
Cool. Well, and you've actually had a lot of these players, or some of these players at least in the past, with your time in Houston as well, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a big carryover from there, from Houston. All those guys are in the NHL. I mean, the only guys that I have from Houston really were Phillips, Palmer, and Grayovac came in, just at the latter end from his junior season ending, and Dumba came in for a few games 2 years ago in the playoffs when we played Grand Rapids. So there's a whole changeover now, and even for next year. I mean, I think the number one thing what really hurt our team this year was the three defensemen that were projected to be here was Dumba, Folin, and Olsen, who got hurt after the first game. So I mean, you lose three defensemen, and I mean, Dumba's playing 15 minutes on the NHL team, so that does protect the players you're missing.
Yeah. So I fully agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more on that, Coach. Looking back at the past season, so, we talked about missing pieces and whatnot. Were there any pleasant surprises in there, guys that probably developed a little faster than you anticipated?
Well, I think players like Mitchell came along pretty well. I don't know if they expected him to put the points up that he did, and I'm not sure that guys like Grayovac, they had a pretty solid season. He's got to keep on. His number one thing for him to be an NHL product is to be a consistent player, and he knows that. And I thought he had a pretty good year, even though it wasn't a winning season for him. And a player like Gabriel came on a bunch more, probably latter around March and April, and really took huge strides. And he got on the compass for the Minnesota Wild. I think that they're very happy with his progress, and and I think one of the young kids that got hurt, and he only played 24 games, that was coming on was Jelena. He's got great hockey sense, sees the ice, and I really love to compete for his size. You know, for his size speed ratio, he's got a big hop, and those players were big time players. But I don't think you want to have 20-year-old senior leaders in the American Hockey League that we learned moving forward. So, you know, we want them to be a big part of our team next year, but also we want to surround them with some stronger, supporting cast members.
So, Coach, this is Frank here. Do you think Stu Bick will be back maybe next year?
We're going to talk about all that stuff moving forward. So it's you don't know until you talk, and you don't know until you don't know if anybody, the free agency. I don't know. I don't think they have a lot of money for free agency, so I don't know what's going on up there until you sit down and you never know if there's any trades or anything in the mix because you're not really part of it.
Yeah, and Stu, I worked with Stu when he was here, I think with the Stars, and he was hurt almost the whole season, so I worked out a lot with him. And great kid, and then I think the next year or 2 years later, he's up with the Rangers and had a good run with them.
Yeah.
Tough kid, super tough kid.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, and I think that, for himself, he was a little bit in between because when he got sent down, they wanted to look at him as a little bit more as a forward, and he was playing D. And those are things that moving forward as a player, you got to make a decision. Because I really think that the NHL is going to go into more of an 11-7 format where the 12th defenseman is really going to be, the 7th defenseman is going to be like a 12th forward. He's going to be a swing guy.
The grocery stick, huh?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the game moving forward. Just because you get so many talented players now on offense, and you want to get them on some more ice. And I think that if you're a good swing guy, meaning being a forward, you could be a big asset for an NHL team.
Yeah, and absolutely, you can help out, especially in special team situations and overtime situations, like we were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
And if you have that scoring defenseman too, and if the league ever does go to the 4-on-4 and the 3-on-3, that's when you definitely do want that scoring defenseman.
And actually, we didn't see much of that here in Des Moines this year. I don't know if you saw it on the road much. What are your thoughts on the new overtime format that the AHL experimented with this year?
Oh, I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun. I got a good story, so you'll die when you hear the ending. But so we're playing. It's 4-on-4 from the 7-minute mark to the 4-minute mark, right?
Okay.
So I think it was like my second or third game. I think, and I usually try to use the whole bench. So it came, so the boys were changed up quick. It was like 20, 25-second shifts, and so it comes down. Like I got Gabriel now, right, on a 4-on. It's a 4-on-4, right? And Gabriel, he's standing there, like can't believe that he's getting picked because he hadn't been out there at all. You know what I mean? I think he averaged like 6 minutes a night before he got picked. So long story short, he's sitting there and he's like, well, what happens if it goes 4-on-3? What happens? I go, just worry about being 4-on-4, Bubba. Just worry about 4-on-4. So it's down to like about the 4-minute mark. He's like, it's going to go 3-on-3. And I'm like, it's 4-on-4 still. Get out there. And he's laid on his change. I got his I go, good job.
Nice. Well,
it was funny. It was funny.
So we're talking about rule changes. So if you are named king today, and you probably have my vote, what would be the one rule you'd change in the NHL?
I probably would make the blue line closer to the goal line because I think teams condense down now and give up the point shot they're not worried about because it's so far away from the net.
Yeah.
So I would make it more of a dangerous shot from the point.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Well, actually, not one we've actually discussed.
Yeah, I never even thought of that.
I just think that it's so stretched out now because everyone just collapses. Like when the puck's in the corner or towards the trapezoid behind the net, the F2 and F3 are at the dot line to the net.
And you'll see sometimes where the guy will be in the opposite corner and just wrap it all the way around, and that D guy's waiting there for it.
He has too much time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. And so they're not worried about that shot because it's too far away. And then they think they can condense the they'll just cut the angle off and just get in the shooting lane. They don't have to go out to the shot. You can still block the shot from the top of the circles instead of being out there. But now the blue line's in tighter, it's going to be a heavier and quicker shot.
All right. Well, Coach, one more question, and then we'll let you get back on your way. And came from one of our listeners asking, what is the best thing that you can give to, a piece of advice that you can give to parents as far as kids coming up through wanting to play at higher levels, or how we help foster their love of the game and their drive?
Well, I think for me, if parents want their children to be better players, I think they need to go to a skating skills coach and stick handling coach. I think that's their best developing skill that they can help their son or daughter improve on to be a better, quicker player. I don't think there's enough emphasis set on the skill development. Like when I coached over in Russia, and they probably spend an hour a day. They play less games and practice more, so they develop their skill more. And for me, I would highly recommend, if you're going to invest any money as a parent in your son or daughter, to do it with a skating and skills coach, because I think that gives them a better chance to build that technique. Tiger Woods has a swing coach, and he's only one athlete. Why wouldn't you want a skating coach or a skills coach?
And that leads to my question, and I probably should ask you off the air before, but I'm a big roller guy. My kid plays ice and roller. Do you see any of the newer kids coming up that have some roller experience? Or
Oh yeah, I did a USA team, the at-large team. I think there was 16 and under. The best skill on the ice was the California team, and they were all the transformed players from roller hockey to ice hockey, and their hand skill set was unbelievable, and you could tell.
Yeah, and we go to some of them big tournaments, State Wars and Narch and all that. So
yeah, I think it's a big thing, and I mean, anytime you get a chance to develop your skill of being in tight quarters, I love those 20 by 30 rinks. I think all the young kids, especially the kids that come up to, I'm going to say 9 years old. They can't play in that big ice surface. They might touch that puck once or twice the whole game.
Yep.
I'd rather see them play in a 20 by 30 so they at least touch it 15, 25 times, and they get to enjoy and want to hold on to the puck.
Right.
That's the big question moving forward. The dump and chase and all that, and the puck possession team. I mean, I think we can develop that a little bit better in the States and Canada moving forward, and just practice the kids in the 20 by 30 rink. So now they have to use their hands quicker because they don't time and space isn't there. So they got to develop that.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Coach. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day. Best of luck during the summer, and we're looking forward to seeing you, probably talking to you over the summer, and definitely seeing you in the fall. And I have to apologize. I almost led into introducing you as Tortorella instead of Torchetti.
Oh yeah, well either they mess up my last name or they call me Don instead of John because they're working on pronouncing my last name. So I'm used to that one. Don't worry about that.
All right, Torch.
Yeah, you guys give me a call during the summer, no problem. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Torchy.
Thanks, Coach.
All righty, and with that, we'll go to break. Over to you, Matt.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, You come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
All right, and we're back. How awesome was that to have
Great
a guy like Coach Torch? I'm just going to call him Torch now. Maybe Bob Torch.
Yeah, just keep it that way.
Maybe Bob Torch.
Yeah, Torchy.
Torchy. I mean, the guy literally has been everywhere. I didn't even give a chance to do a proper introduction on him. Apparently, he was quite an accomplished hockey player in his younger years.
Yeah.
He was for the All-American Hockey League, AAHL, I believe it was in 86, 87. He was, I got to look. I had it written down here because it's just unbelievable. He was first-team All-Star, most points, most goals, most assists, and league MVP. On top of that, coached in the East Coast League, IHL, AHL, the NHL with 3 different teams, won a Stanley Cup with Chicago.
And in Philadelphia.
And he's the first American-born coach to coach what is now the Red Army team.
Yeah.
So when he went to the KHL before he came here, he went to CSKA Moscow, which was the renamed Red Army team.
And he coached roller.
But I mean, literally, this guy who we just had, was down the hall from Viktor Tikhonov.
Yeah.
Who was like the godfather of Russian hockey. It's just unbelievable that we could have punks like us could have a guy like that on here to talk hockey. Isn't that awesome?
And I love when you talk about him too, when you're like one-on-one with them, you say stuff about like, and he goes, it's just a game.
Yep.
They have such an easy, just a game.
Yep. And I would, as I was saying on the break, I'd just love to have him here in the studio. He's such a great guy, very personal guy, passionate about the game, but very real. And I remember the first time I met him, we were literally sitting in his office with our feet up on the desk talking about hockey for an hour and a half nonstop. Just an unbelievable guy. Unbelievable guy.
It's Paulie Gerard and Davey Allison that way too.
Yep. Paulie's still in the playoffs, by the way. Utica is still running.
I seen that. There was some big controversial goal win that series.
Triple overtimer.
Something like that, Goal interference, they thought, but they counted it.
Oklahoma City still playing them. So.
Yeah.
So good to see local guys who are done well, good class acts, still making waves in the hockey world. So.
I wonder how they're pulling, like crowd-wise.
I was there for the last games last year, and the attendance was pretty paltry. Now with the fact that these are their last games, they've already announced that the team's moving at the end of the season.
Really?
Yes. They are going out to California.
Oh.
They're one of the 5 teams going to California for that new Western Division.
Okay.
There will not be any hockey, professional at least, in Oklahoma City.
I'm sure they'll get something in there.
I hope they do. I've had friends who played there back in the days where they were the Barons. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And sorry, they were the Barons. They were the Blazers before that. They were the Oklahoma City Blazers. Now with basketball being right across the street, these guys literally are in a convention center. So it's not the coziest of buildings. They have an absolutely phenomenal locker room set up there. It's too bad to see, but hopefully something will come back there.
Good friend of mine, Josh Green, played in Oklahoma in their first year when they brought them back. He was I think he was like their captain or assistant captain. He's over doing the Europe thing, doing real well. So,
and he was here as well. He played with the Iowa Stars, correct?
He was Iowa
Stars or Chops?
Chops. He broke his leg in Chops, and he broke his leg not even mid-season, early season, and then. He was another guy. I would go down and work out with him just because when the guys were on the road, he'd be in the workout room and so me and just ride bikes and
stay in the office.
And I'd be like, dude, you played it in the Stanley Cup playoffs for Vancouver. Like, are you kidding me?
What are you talking to me for? Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So just kind of go over what's happening in local hockey. Buffalo Wild Wings night. That's where we're headed right after this. The Merle Hay Shop has got 10% of your bill goes back to Des Moines Youth Hockey Association. That's going on all month long, and the word has it there's a game on TV tonight.
I think there is a game.
I believe there is. Is the East Coast game on tonight?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep, New York. It's New York
so
and
it's
Tampa.
It's in New York. Yes, they're back. They're in Tampa.
Well, they're both on the East Coast. So.
Yeah, true. So I couldn't remember if this was a travel day.
Real East Coast, though, is New York, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Torture has something to say about that. Des Moines Adult Hockey Association. Still looking for registrants to complete our Sundays and Thursday nights. Sunday night kicked off last week, and Thursday, I believe, is looking to kick off probably next week, not tomorrow night. But dmaha.com is your website to find that on. Wild AAA tryouts are this weekend for ages birth year 97 through 04. So you can contact Metro Ice Facility for any times or anything specific on that. And
was there any local boys on that team last year?
There were a few, actually.
Was there?
There were a few. With only having two teams, there were 5 or 6 maybe local guys on it.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about what that does for hockey around here. But when you consider, not without trying to get on a soapbox, but when you consider that the number of high-level people that move on, to be able to offer to keep that here locally, I think just gives so much more credibility to our own program. And also keeps those boys at home. And helps us home grow our own program.
Right, they're not all going to Omaha.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
Exactly.
So
there's no reason they should. When we have a rink here and we have a team that wants to be here and an association are playing it.
Yeah.
So they're in a much better association this year, so a lot less travel instead of having to do the plane time out to the East Coast and whatnot. So mostly Midwest stuff. So big things looking forward for the AAA Wild this year. You have anything on wheels to talk about, Frank?
Absolutely. Des Moines Explosion this weekend going to Omaha, playing all weekend, Saturday, Sunday games, 8Us, 10Us, 12Us, A and B teams. So it's full. We have one whole hotel.
Wow.
And so we are.
Damage deposit required?
Yeah, no hockey sticks allowed in the building this time. We've been to this place before. But 12Us, our 12UA suffered a loss to Omaha in our own home tournament for the championship, so it'll be fun to see that game back. Get to go back at that game again. And what else is going on? We got Huff and Puff League. If anyone's looking to join just a novice league of guys just learning how to play, mostly it's dads who their kids play, and then they decided they wanted to play. And so we have on Wednesday nights at Skate West. Come on out, check it out. We have rental gear and stuff you could try on, and a lot of fun. A lot of times I'll be in the pipes for them games, so. I mean, I might shut you down. You might not score, but it's cool. It's
who would not want to come out and take a pot shot at Frank?
Oh, then they do. What else we got going on? We got Farm Tough clinics are coming back. You guys got your clinics coming up.
Champion is coming back as well.
So we got Farm Tough Champions. I mean, there's a lot of hockey going on.
Yep. There is no off season, man.
No off season. Not for us, anyway.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Speaking of, leads right into. We'll just kind of give a couple minutes. Summer hockey, of course, it's always been, like we said, the off season, the ice melts. Well, just a couple of thoughts on this. Every other sport that our kids are looking at right now, one sport is competing for these kids' attention.
Mm-hmm.
All these other sports, football, baseball, soccer, whatnot, all looking for year-round commitments when they want to either play at a higher level or with they want to have access to the coaching, as Coach had led on to. We've had kids miss select practice last winter because they had baseball practice.
Yep.
So what are you kidding me? It's February.
Yeah.
Or
soccer.
Yeah, or soccer. But I mean, I was thinking of baseball. Well, you can't even really play baseball indoors around here. But
they throw the ball on the ground, they catch it, and they throw it to first. I mean,
but what is skills and drills? You know, pitching practice, batting practice, things like that. And you know, what is USA Hockey? You've been through enough of the coaching things. They tell you diversification's okay. They tell your kids to take the summer off, go off and make sure that they make take up other sports, make some better athletes. I agree with that. But I think honestly, you need to balance that with burnout. You know, you've experienced it yourself with your son. Ant was a hardcore goaltender. Yeah, went a long time without taking the pads off and just got burnt to the point I don't think he would ever put them on again.
No, he does put them on though. He plays every Sunday.
Really, finally,
early games, and he has a blast. But he does not want to be a goalie.
His first passion.
No, I mean I don't even think he just takes it as a job. He knew this team needed him, so he goes and he plays hard, and he's still technically beautiful. I mean, but it burned him out. And
we've seen that with a couple of kids, especially a couple of transition between roller and ice, and they go hard and they just get burnt out. I understand there needs to be a balance in there, but Finland actually tells their program to shut down for the summer. Finland, like I said, for a country that has a population the same as the Twin Cities, but yet they still have 19% of NHLers.
Yeah.
So 90% of NHL goalies is probably closer to 10% of NHLers.
Well, the goalies coming out of especially the northern European countries are they're being taught how to direct every rebound to the corner. Anytime you shoot, it gets.
They're big, athletic, and you can see the soccer skills and the other sports skills that transition across. So yes, I'm a big believer in your kids need to try other stuff. Your kids make some better athletes, make some better human beings.
Still work on the skills, though.
But skills.
Down in the basement, shooting.
Yep. It's not just about, flicking pucks. It's about hand-eye coordination. I know lacrosse is catching on big around here. I went out for kids lacrosse recently, and there was a lot of crossover here between the ice and roller kids and lacrosse kids.
Totally.
I know a lot of NHLers use it. So what can we say? It's get out there, keep active, but keep the love for the sport alive. Maddie's shaking her head at me rapidly, so I'm assuming we're a little late for a break. So I'll let her go off and... Oh, there's the crickets. Oh, maybe that's our audience. I can't be sure. All right, let's go pay a couple bills and we'll be right back for overtime.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coach with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hey. Psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart, and it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
And we're back for overtime. Running a little late, so we're going to try to cram as much in as we usually can towards the end. And as per usual, overtime's usually exciting, and it's probably going to end on an ugly one. So.
Yeah.
As we saw last night. But
remember real quick on the longest NHL playoff game was the Flyers one, Flyers Penguins, and it was Wayne Primo Keith Primo.
Ron Primo.
Did a little thing around the D and just shot it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I jumped, so I was in my dad's bar, and I jumped so high, I put my hand right through the ceiling fan. I did. I still remember that.
Anyway. You know, it's those guys, those grocery stick guys, as I probably inappropriately named them when Torch was on with us. Those guys that have been sitting for a while, the fourth liners, because you're running your horses. Mm-hmm. But after a while, it comes to a point, you got to send your guys out there that haven't played much, the guys that are in the doghouse. That happened in that game that was Washington and the Rangers years ago, back in '87, I believe it was, that went, it was like 4 overtimes. Mm-hmm. Guy came off the bench because he'd been sitting there all night because he was in the doghouse. And got to a point, coach had no choice to play him. Mm-hmm. Guy goes out and scores a game winner.
Got him out of the doghouse.
But he was the only fresh legs he had on the bench, so what can you do? Speaking of coaches, and that seems to be a theme song for today, Babcock signs with Toronto today. Apparently, it was between Buffalo and Toronto, and the people in Buffalo apparently are not very happy. It's going to be interesting, I think, because partially, who are you going to get to go into Buffalo?
I know.
I mean, it's a black hole of the NHL right now.
And
there was rumors they were tanking the season. Rumors from their players, actually, one of the goalies that they traded away, that they were tanking the season.
A goalie would
say
that.
Place. Goalie would say that.
I mean, his goals against must have been pretty bad.
Or maybe it was just lost in translation. He was a Finnish goalie after all.
Yeah.
But we see Babcock going to Toronto for 6 years. I really want to get Torchy's take on this. 6 years in the first front-loaded contract that will pay him $6.25 a year. $6.25 million a year.
I think it's good sometimes when the coaches get more into players.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the things I would be. Is if I was a coach, I'm getting $500,000 a year, and I know guys are getting $5 million. You know, and I want to boss them around, and you know what I mean. Like,
well, it shows that ownership is putting some credence in their thoughts and what these guys bring to the table. It's more than just a guy in the room. So maybe it sets the bar a little bit for the players.
Yeah, because who was that? Was that famous football NFL guy who went from college to pro and then went right back to college down in Miami?
No, yeah,
whatever, football. Yeah, but
but interesting for Babcock because his kids are playing in East Coast prep school. So I thought he was going to end up somewhere on the East Coast, anyways. But
wonder where they're playing.
I remember hearing it, but it was a big name school, but.
Was it not Avon?
No, it was not. Okay. It was not. It was not Mary Kay either. So, but I am truly heartbroken to see that Ted Nolan did not get invited back to Buffalo. I thought, talking about coaches and the right kind of fit, is Babcock the right kind of fit? You look at guys. People talk about who's the greatest coaches. Scotty Bowman's name always comes up.
Yeah,
Scotty Bowman was a good coach, but he was a good coach because he was the right guy in the right circumstance. He was. He had great teams. Mm-hmm. He had to tweak. Yeah. You think with St. Louis, the team he had when they first went to the Cup, despite the fact they were a young team, went to the Cup when he had the Canadiens in the early 70s. A traffic cone could have sat behind the net, behind the bench, and probably won half of those cups.
Yeah.
He went to Pittsburgh. Great teams there. I mean, pretty easy to make yourself a pretty good coaching resume when you have horses like that.
Yeah. No, you're right. And so,
but then you have guys like Nolan, who's all the guys say they love him. He's a great player guy.
Yeah,
but doesn't.
Sometimes the player guys though, and you even fall into that with kids when you start joking and playing around too much with the and you're always like horse playing with the puck with them, and then when you're like, all right, let's practice, and they're kind of like, no, we were just playing, let's keep. They want to play,
Yeah.
But I feel it's the same way. Is that a player coach comes in, and a lot of times the players kind of don't respect them as much as an authority figure. Let me put it that way. So, but I think that might not. I don't think that's what happened in Buffalo. Though.
I'd like to get what was his name, Latchy's impression of that.
Yeah,
Matt Latch was assistant coach here for the Iowa Chops and was not long off of his playing career, and just want to get his thoughts on what he got in too early. Latch would be a great guy to get on here.
I'll get him.
Yeah,
I'll get him.
So a couple other things going on. We saw Marty Brodeur actually just signed as assistant GM in St. Louis.
Yep.
We made comment off the air. Interesting, he did not go back to Jersey, but I think he owes something to St. Louis for giving him a shot to go out on his terms.
Yeah, and I don't know. Wonder is there any bad blood in New Jersey?
I don't know. I just think the fact that nobody wants to be told that they have to retire. LaFleur did it. He was told by the Canadians he had to retire. He went off, played for Quebec, played for the Rangers, and just went out when he was ready to go out. You know,
when you're competitive, like, you know, because tell me I have to retire my job right now. Okay. You gonna give me retirement?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, a competitive
quit is not a word bred into these guys.
Right.
So Todd McClellan signed at Edmonton yesterday. Love this fit.
I'm telling you that they might be building towards a dynasty.
I tell you, as low as they were in the standings, the pieces they have right now, they have the new GM there, Peter Chiarelli from formerly of Boston. You've got Bob Goodenough from Hockey Canada there. You've got the number 1 pick this year. All the horses they had, you had Taylor Hall, you have Nugent Hopkins, Nail Yakupov.
Trying to think who. Yeah. Oh, that's.
You need a goaltender in there because they did have Dubnyk there, and look what happened to that experiment.
Yeah. I wonder who they bring in a veteran player. You know,
it's tough to bring a guy in there.
It would be tough to bring a guy.
It's kind of like the end of the earth for free agents right now. But it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy anymore.
And he's a great player guy. I think when you look at his history in San Jose, he did not have the greatest relation with his owner or his GM, but he related well to those guys, kept the same core guys together, always performed well. They vanished in the playoffs, but, half the teams vanish in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You look at big guys like Rick Nash, who wouldn't love to have him on a regular season roster?
Right.
So there's still openings in San Jose, possibly St. Louis, Buffalo, but we'll see.
Philly made a big move.
I knew you were going to go into this, so I actually did some homework on this.
Yeah.
Dave Haxtell. So you have Ron Hextall and Dave Haxtall.
And I like this guy. I mean, I do. I think he is, he's one of them people that earned his time.
Yeah.
And looking over his resume is, wow. I mean, Frozen Four.
Yep.
Continuously.
He made the postseason for NCAA, I believe, every year that he was at UND.
Wow.
Has a great track record. Produced some great players. Zach Breezy, TJ Oshie, John Taves. So he's got great, as far as product he's developed. He did coach Hextall's kid. So I don't know if that had any, gave him an inside track on it.
Yeah, because Hexty's kid is deep. No, he's a forward.
I believe he's a forward.
Yeah, I think he's like a right winger or something like that.
Who will be a 4th generation. If he makes it to the NHL, he will be a 4th generation NHLer.
I love his dad.
I met his dad, actually, at a Chops game years ago.
Did you? Oh, yeah, I met Hexty.
Interesting, though, he's coming from college. It's an interesting route to take because, we know there's differences. The NHL game is going a lot more towards the college model as far as the run and gun type thing and less on structure and more freewheeling type of thing. But you wonder, coming from 40 games to 84 games, but you are seeing a lot more kids coming out of college. So for him, is it a better preparation for him, the fact that he's used to having more mature, older players? You used to look at some of these college kids, 23, 24 years old.
They're not like, 18.
They're not 17, 18 years old before you let them go.
No. So and I'm sure he's one of those guys that knows to go that far all the time in the NCAA is he has to know the kids that have the work ethic and how to build on that work ethic because that, no matter what, you can run and gun, but most of the time you're still going to try and possess the puck and control it, and that's what he's going to bring. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for anything new there, really. So
how many coaches? 19 coaches, and they've been around since what? When were they come in the league?
67.
67. There you go. So they're 47 years old, and they're on 19 coaches.
Fred Shiro was our big one.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So it comes back to coaching success. It's a matter of, do you relate to guys? Coaches are hired to be fired, honestly. And John would probably agree with that too.
But it's not baseball. I believe managers are more hired to be fired.
Yes,
because baseball it's baseball.
Yes,
hockey you have to work in a system. The system has to go down to your farm system. You have to. Yeah, I mean, there's are you a forward checking team, a back checking team? How do you make plays for your talent, or do you make your talent work for your plays? And I mean that's huge. So
you want to be the guy. You want to be the coach. I think that you want to be the coach that people want to play for.
Yep.
In baseball, it's a matter of, okay, who made the right chess moves at the right time, and put this guy at the bat and see if he's going to. Okay, I put my chess piece in there. Then see if that works. Hockey, everything's on the fly, and you're relating to these guys on the fly. You're managing personalities on the fly. You're managing situations on the fly. While still trying to manage these guys after. You're doing all the grooming, doing all the wound licking, doing this and that's, holding their hand, patting their back, and kicking their butt at the same time,
And, before we go, I talked to someone about the Des Moines Bucks just not too long ago with them doing their draft, and they said that, just for last couple of years, people didn't want to come play here. Mm-hmm. There's, and I love our former coach, but now Davey Allison's here, who we should get him on the show too.
Got to get him on.
People are loving I think all their draft picks are like, okay, I'm coming. I mean, he's got just a great thing going, and
that's the big challenge in that league because there's so many other options. When you draft in the NHL, all right, you're either going to go back where you were playing last year, or you're not going to get swept away unless you're a Russian kid who wants to stay home in the KHL or something like that. Yeah. But the big challenge for these guys is, am I coming back? Am I going to be here? Well, maybe I'll go play for somebody else, or maybe I'll go to college. Maybe I'll go
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of strategery probably is the best word.
Wow.
It's not even a real word, but it is now. So I'd be interested to hear what Davey has to say about it. And, and once again, though, that's a guy that knows how to relate to somebody, and he doesn't care who they are. I mean, he's got stories for every occasion. I remember a few of the ones that he shared with me, and I just absolutely love the guy. I'd run through a brick wall for a coach like that.
He's one of my first bosses that was a coach, and Scott Whitey was our GM, and I barely dealt with Whitey much. At the end, I really got to enjoy Whitey. But anyway, Davey was my boss, kind of, and you couldn't ask for a better. But you did what he said. He loved you. You get everything. If you dropped the ball too many times, he didn't rely on you, didn't trust you, or whatever. So.
Very, very much like Torchy. Very, very much along the same lines. Very direct.
Yeah,
loves what he does and has no hesitation
in sharing.
Still keep
Nate around.
Yes, absolutely. Still keep Nate around.
That's their for people that don't know. That's their equipment guy, who's a great guy and friends of ours. So.
We'll get him back. Actually, I want to get him in here, but we may have to make sure he's on tape delay.
Yeah,
but he's a great guy, and hoping for big things out of the whole organization this fall. So I think we're actually coming up on time here. Is that correct, Matty?
Puck dropping pretty soon.
Puck dropping like 3 minutes. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and close out. All right. Well, Buffalo Wild Wings, Merle Hay.
Yes.
Be there. We're going to be there.
Yep.
Come over, have a beverage and a couple of chicken bones. Talk some hockey. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. And hopefully we'll have another exciting guest next week.
Yeah. No, Bobby Ryan. Be here.
Bobby Ryan. There you go. And that's it for the other state of hockey.